wanderer came through the other day, yelling and screaming in a language we recognized, but no one spoke. So we brought him in, gave him food and drink, and a place to sleep till he was strong enough to leave. We don't get a lot of travelers to our village. It's out of the way, and most travel routes don't go anywhere near us, so it's better to be nice to the ones we do get. We called our local cleric to give him a checkup, see if he's okay. Other than the dehydration and the shock, he was. We asked the cleric if he understood him. He said, "Yes, I actually spend winters in the south. It's a lot warmer there. Our wanderer here is actually a fisherman off the south coast. I'll actually let him explain it." The cleric then proceeded to cast tongues. We were always told there was cursed lands beyond the mountains, past the forbidden sea, but we didn't think it was real. It was just a scary story we told our children. A warning to not go into the uncharted waters, or land somewhere you didn't know. But our seas had been filled with fishermen for centuries. The fishing has gotten scarce. We have to go farther and farther out to sea every day just to catch something. We grew desperate, but what I wouldn't give to undo what I did. We went past the gates into the forbidden sea. At first, it was a great idea. Calm seas, bountiful harvests. So much that we were heroes when we returned to the village. Until the day the storm came in. We were out on the sea bringing in our nets, trying to get out before it arrived. We were not so lucky. It came upon us with the speed of a stampeding cattle, and the force of one too. For 3 days, in the roughest seas I've ever sailed, we tried to keep the ship afloat. But by the morning of the 4th day, we washed ashore. Our boat smashed against the rocks. Luckily, I found my crew across the beach, bruised but alive. We walked the beach trying to find anything. A person, a sign, any buildings. We found nothing. So we went inland. Nothing but an overgrown forest, so dense it was hard to see anything other than green. While we were walking, one of my crewmen said he saw someone. I don't know how he saw anything in this forest, but if it was someone, we really needed the help. It took us most of the day, but we finally exited that forest. We walked out into a valley, peaked on one side by what looked like a volcano. The air was thick with the smell of sulfur. The ground was littered in the ash, so deep it felt like fresh snow with every step. At the end of the valley we saw it, the only structure on the island. A fortification larger than anything I've ever seen, and it only grew larger with every step closer. It was covered in bones. Thousands of them. People, animals, monsters. We finally saw the figure at the base of the wall. We rushed over to him. We hadn't seen anybody in days. We just wanted to know where we were. We just wanted to go home. Until I had a strange feeling. Something wasn't right. It was unnatural. The feeling coming from him. He was just standing there. He didn't say anything, till we all heard an eerie voice. Not spoken, but in our heads. Only 7 words. And I'll never forget them. Pay the tax. Or pay the tithe. We didn't have any money. We barely had the clothes on our backs, so we chose the tithe. But I never had any idea what the tithe would be. A burning feeling came from inside me, a splitting pain. My muscles felt like they were ripping from my bones. We all started screaming. A flame burst from my crewmen's bodies. Their flesh melted from their bones, and that eerie voice had said, "The tithe has been paid." I watched the bones from the piles that were once my crew, the piles who were once my friends, begin to float and stick to that wall. And while I was alive, I was forced through the portal behind him. I landed outside your village not knowing what happened, or where I am.